What's up, everyone? It is episode 258 of the Fight Library. I'm your host, Blaine Henry, and I was wrong about Alex Pereira when the UFC signed him. Today on the podcast, we're discussing, obviously, UFC 295. What a night of fights it was. Namely, Alex Pereira's win over Jiri Prochazka. What a win. So before we get into today's episode, please drop a sub, drop a comment. It's great for the channel, and I would be eternally grateful. So YouTube, if you see me looking right here, I'm talking to Twitter because I'm also live on X, not Twitter X. I'm also live on X. If you see me looking right here, Twitter, I'm talking to YouTube. So we're live on both. This is a live podcast, and yeah, drop your comments, drop your questions. And we'll be talking about it because, what a night of fight. So we'll start it off at the top at Alex Pereira's win over Jiri Prochazka. Now, on Miguel Class's Twitter, he posted a video about Alex Pereira. And I made a comment saying, I doubted Alex Pereira's power, which, yeah, that's fair criticism at 205. 20 pounds up. He's got one knockout, two now at the weight class. But I said the key to victory for him was going to be the low calf kick. And I saw somebody on Twitter posted it today, and they said basically the same thing, that they thought the calf kick, not the left hook, is Alex Pereira's best weapon. And I'm inclined to believe that. That's how he beat Adesanya the first MMA match. He was beating Adesanya like that the second MMA match. Alex Pereira is truly a master at the calf kick. And if these fighters are going to go in there and not check it, why should he throw it? If these fighters are going to go in there and not check it, why should he not throw it? Seriously, it's free damage. If your knee's there and you kick on the outside leg kick, which is kicking like the outside side of your knee instead of the inside, close to your pecker, it just jars it in. It's terrible. It's painful. And especially if you don't pick your leg up or pull it back. Get out of the way. These MMA fighters are really understanding now that calf kicks are bad, and we might need to learn to check them because, man, like Chris Gutierrez just got a main event fight. Jonathan Martinez, those two guys train together with these calf kicks. Alex Pereira is great at them. Gaethje and Barboza, Gaethje kind of, he was doing the inside leg kick, which was by your pecker, and against Poirier in the first fight, and that's what got him countered. But when he switched up to the outside leg kick, that's really what set him apart from Dustin Poirier. And we see it with Alex Pereira. Now, Alex Pereira's worked out something a little bit different here. So normally if you throw a calf kick, you're going to throw yourself, especially if you're throwing it hard, you're going to throw yourself out of position. Okay, so you're throwing this as hard as you can, and yeah, it causes a lot of damage, but if it misses, you are out of position. You're going to get countered, and it's going to hurt. What Alex Pereira has worked out is, why should I have to throw these at full power and put myself out of position? What if I just throw them at I don't know, I don't know what he throws it at, 3/4 power, half power, whatever. Why don't I just throw it at this lesser power and not put myself out of position? The effect is amplified because these guys aren't checking low kicks. So why should he not throw them like he does? Now, he does this cool thing, and I talked about it on my Substack. He does this cool thing where he steps out and he pre-pivots the foot. I've seen it called Shortcut Kicking by Ghost on Twitter. Great Twitter handle, channel, if you want to give that a follow. But he pivots it out. Instead of having to pivot, he does it, and his hips are already turned over, and he just snaps his leg in. That's the kick Joe Rogan's always talking about. That's not telegraphed. And he did this to Jiri Prochazka the entire night, from the beginning. And by 3 calf kicks, I think Jiri was already feeling it and reaching for it. And I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be bad. And it sure enough was. It was a rough night for Jiri Prochazka. Now, just like the Jan Blachowicz fight, Alex Pereira was taken down in the first round. And he was there. I believe at the end of the round he managed to get up. I can't quite remember. I didn't rewatch the fight yesterday. Or today for that matter. But if I'm not mistaken, he did get back up. But it doesn't matter. He was controlled there most of the round. And he lost the round. Okay, so the same thing with Jan Blachowicz. Same thing happened. Now, Jiri fights a little more unorthodox. And when I say that, I don't mean southpaw, even though he tried to fight southpaw here. Now, I noticed that when Jiri Prochazka does go to southpaw, he's a lot less on the attack. So if somebody like Alex Pereira, if he can work that out and he sees, he's in southpaw, he's not as effective here, he can go in. So that kind of sent Pereira retreating to the fence, and that's where Pereira does his best work. And I wanted to see him press Jiri Prochazka to the fence. I did. Obviously, we didn't get it, or we did, and it worked for a little bit in years. I got to get off the fence. Something that we all know now. You can't be on the fence against Alex Pereira. You just can't do it. It's not the cards here. It really isn't. So he caught him with a what was it, left hook or something. He caught him with a left hook and dropped him, and then Jiri. He shot a panic takedown attempt, which he got one of those. He was buzzed against Dominic Reyes. He got one of those and secured it. This time he couldn't because Pereira was hammering home the elbows. And eventually he did fall back, and I feel like it was an early stoppage in the beginning. Prochazka came out and said it was a good stoppage by Mark Goddard. He was out. So I was like, okay, never mind. I was wrong. But at the end of the day, Alex Pereira did get the win. That's what matters the most to him. He's a double champ now. And not really, he's a two-weight champ. A double champ, I'd say it means getting the belt in two different weight classes at once. Alex Pereira hasn't done that. And yeah. So I got a mark on the inside of my hat. So yeah. Alex hadn't done that. He got two belts in two different weight classes at two different times. So after the fight, obviously he called out Israel Adesanya, and everybody was like, he said, Adesanya, come to daddy. But if you go and look at the message, it was translated from Portuguese. Basically, Pereira was like, look, you're in a dark spot. I was in a dark spot at one point too, because he suffered from alcoholism. He still does. He will never not suffer from that. But he suffers with alcoholism and similar. So he's trying to help Adesanya. Obviously he's like, hey, let's get this money, let's fight, because a fifth fight, a tiebreaker in UFC, would be amazing, especially at 205 now that Pereira's the champion, and Adesanya can go up and try for another 205 title like he did with Blachowicz. So yeah, I like that. Another fight for him, Ankalaev is out there. He's got a draw and a no contest with Blachowicz and Johnny Walker. So I don't see him getting a title shot. He deserves it after his run, but after those two ugly performances from Ankalaev, because one was an illegal knee, we can't give a title shot off an illegal knee. Or we shouldn't. But the UFC is the UFC, and they just gave Chito Vera a title shot for being ranked 5th. So I get it, Let's sell some tickets. But if you really want to go all in on the I got the hair on my face. I am struggling tonight, guys. If you want to go all in on the Glover Teixeira revenge tour like Alex did, because it was really cool, this fight. Jiri obviously took the belt from Glover Teixeira, who won it from Jan Blachowicz. And after that fight, Jiri trains with Glover a lot. Not Jiri. Alex trains with Glover a lot. And after the fight, after he choked out Glover, Alex was just stone-faced. Like, what are you doing, bro? I see you. So he was going and he's avenging his teammate. And he did say after the fight, he was like, it feels good to be able to avenge Glover and bring the belt back to our gym. That was really cool. Obviously, you still got a belt there. From Glover winning it, but now Pereira brought it back home like the active champion. It's pretty fantastic. So, if we're going on the Glover to share revenge tour, Alex Pereira should really consider fighting Jamahal Hill. So Hill, after Jiri Prochazka, hurt his shoulder, Hill stepped in and fought Glover for the vacant strap, and Hill won. So now it makes sense. Jamahal Hill, that's the fight. That's the one. He had to give his up for a torn MCL playing basketball. So if he's in good enough shape and time, Adesanya wants to stay out for, he said till 27. I think that's just to throw people off from asking, like quit asking. There's the Jiri rematch, but he just knocked him out in the second round. What, Strickland's going to come up? No. He's went up from 170 already. Usman? No, he talked about 205, but come on. Usman's washed. Hill's the guy. Pereira probably wants to take some time off. I'm fine with that. So yeah, Alex Pereira is a 2-weight champion. There's no way around it. And is good for the sport. Pereira's a star. The guy is, he's actually really funny with the whole stone face meme, and he's a lights out fighter. My one concern though with Alex Pereira is his age. He's 36. Bet you didn't know that. If you did, you'd know this is coming. How much longer does he have at the top? Power's always the last thing to leave. Everybody knows that. But you also have to have your speed. Alex doesn't have much longer. He might fight one more time with Adesanya and then retire. That might be the end game. Fight Jiri, fight Jamahal, and then fight Izzy for the 5th time. Which is crazy. But yeah, Alex is a fun fighter, and I'd like to see more of him in the future. So yeah, let's go with it. I'm about it. I like it, and I'm down with Alex Izzy 5. The first 2 fights were great. He was killing Adesanya with the calf kicks. Again, his best weapon. So yeah, good fight. Next, we're going to talk about Tom Aspinall defeating Sergei Pavlovich because, oh my gosh. So this fight was originally supposed to be Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Legacy fight. Jon Jones has the belt. Yeah. Jones gets hurt. Miocic ain't fighting. Tom Aspinall comes in. Which was weird because Sergei Pavlovich was the backup for this fight already. So now we have Pavlovich and Aspinall for the interim title. Pavlovich, a heavy hitter. Aspinall's a little better, well-rounded, and he's quick. He's fast. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've seen a heavyweight as fast as Tom Aspinall. The dude is lightning fast, especially in and on his feet. And the way he got Pavlovich was just beautiful. He steps in, bam, 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 1-1-2. I think either that or he threw a hook in the beginning or something. But he just, wham! It was beautiful. Art, poetry in motion. Tom Aspinall's a poet. It was great. I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. And to see him get another title, so that makes 3 UK titles. So my buddy, my name's Blaine, his name is Blaine too. And we watched the fights together. And they were like, he's the 3rd UK UFC champion. And I was like, who was the first? He's like, dude, Michael Bisping. Who was the second? I'm like, bruh, Leon Edwards. It's kind of a funny moment. We just like forgot the opposite. And it's like these 2 guys are some of the best in the world. So yeah, it's really cool to see Tom Aspinall. I didn't learn much about him. I'd like to see him have to go deeper. But like this guy finishes everybody. Everybody. Will he fight Jon Jones? Probably not. Jones is probably fighting Stipe and retiring. He's not going to, I don't know. I need to see more from Jon Jones than what we saw with the Cyril Gane fight. And Stipe Miocic is not going to be what I need to see. Tom Aspinall has a shot at beating Jones because of his size. Jones always struggles with people his size. And he struggles when not motivated. And not on steroids. And yeah. So there's a lot of X factors to Jon Jones, and he's never been beaten by it except for the one illegal Matt Hamill 12 to 6 elbows that got got him disqualified, but that's not really a loss. We're not counting that as a loss. What else? Jessica Andrade and Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern leaves her chin up, like, hey. And the UFC commentators were harping on it all night for good reason, actually. You know, I do like to give the UFC commentating crew like DC and Joe a lot of slack, or a lot of flack, because we were talking about, like, Joe doesn't seem like he's in it anymore. He's not as involved as he was. He watches the fights every night, but he doesn't quite. He's not quite as practiced, I guess you would say, which, you know, it's just part of it. He's a $100 millionaire now. His Spotify contract's coming up. He's basically got $100 million. So, like, he likes doing what he does, but he doesn't have the passion for it, I don't think, anymore. But they did a good job harping on Mackenzie Dern keeping her chin up, and especially against someone like Andrade, who comes over the top with hooks that looks for people who leave their chin too high. Jessica Andrade found the too high chin, like she always does. When she lost to Rose Namajunas, it's because Rose didn't leave her chin up in the air for her to hit. Rose was smart with her footwork. Mackenzie Dern has too much confidence in her hands. Now, I get Andrade. I get Andrade is strong. You know, she's a big girl. She fights at 135 and she was fighting at 115. I get that. But Mackenzie Dern, you know, she got the head and arm throw and Andrade popped up. I was like, go figure, another head and arm throw. She barely, you know, she was on the back foot the entire time. She has to make Jessica Andrade think, I need to go backwards. Because Andrade's going to come out there and do what she does. She's going to come out there, she's going to throw hooks, they're going to hurt. They're going to be to the body or to the heads. Because she's, you know, she beat Chukagian with a body shot. She knocks everybody out. Andrade's great. So, yeah, I mean, I see her as a Hall of Famer, Jessica Andrade. And this was Mackenzie Dern's, I believe this was her second shot at the top of the division. I don't know if she'll ever get there anymore. Then again, I don't know. Women's 115 is a good division, so she might struggle. She really might. Diego Lopes. I'm gonna skip over Benoit Saint Denis for a second. Diego Lopes went and banged out Pat Sabatini. Ever since he came in short notice against Movsar Evloev, the dude's just been a fan-friendly fighter through and through. The dude's so much fun. He's so good. Amazing jiu-jitsu. And we just found out that he has power in his hands. Come on, Diego Lopes. Let's go. Oh, it's going to be a blast. Benoit Saint Denis knocked out Matt Frevola, though. This is one I want to talk about because I'm going to have to make a video study on Benoit Saint Denis because this guy is so much fun. I'm working on one right now, and I'm thinking I'm going to skip the Lorenzo Hunt video I was going to do and do Benoit Saint Denis. This guy here is an all-action fighter. Benoit Saint Denis, I will tune in to watch him every day of the week. If they put on a Benoit Saint Denis card or a Benoit Saint Denis fight every day, I'd watch it every single day. It's amazing how good this guy is. He's all action. Now, drag him into the later rounds. I don't know what's going to happen. But we haven't had to. The dude finishes people. He's French and he fights like an old school Frank. I love it. Benoit Saint Denis, I need more of him. He's great. So Frevola, you know, he's on a great run. Just knocked out Drew Dober. He was ranked 14th. And tomorrow, Benoit Saint Denis is going to have that spot. So Frevola comes out and he manages to put him on his back. And he does it twice, actually. So Saint Denis fights his way up. He wall walks up. And Frevola gets him back down. So this guy, he knows how to get up. He likes to fight. He likes to strike. And apparently he's only been fighting since 2017. It's like 6-7 years, something like that. So he gets up and he had this beautiful butterfly sweep. Oh my God. He wrenched the arm, pulled it in, and he swept over and was on top. Got up. And Frevola got up, actually, and he's holding on to his arm and he wants to front off and get away. And as he's backing out, he lets his hand down a little bit too hard and whack! High kick puts down Favola. Good googly moogly. That was beautiful. It was great. It really was. So, yeah, Benoit Saint Denis. I'm excited to see a lot of him and Diego Lopes in the future because these two guys, they're scary. These MMA fighters, they're coming in. They're getting better and better. Earlier and earlier. Great. So, guys, I think we're going to wrap up here. At the end of the week, I'm going to try and do a podcast. So, I will be doing a... I'm going to Dallas, a few hours away from me, down here in Baton Rouge, and I'll be I'll be filming a video at the 16th annual the 16th World Wushu Championships. I'm going to watch some Sanda, boys. It'll be the second episode of Fight Finders. Episode 2 of Fight Finders is coming, and it's going to be great. It should be here early next week. Last episode was a little under 15 minutes. I'm hoping to break that 20-minute mark with 3 days of action. I'll have some behind-the-scenes stuff with the fighters. All that. It's going to be fantastic. So make sure you subscribe, tune in. It'll be on all my social media platforms. So whatever you're watching on, here you go. This is what you got. It's going to be great. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be fun to be able to go see this Sanda live. And when I saw that it was in Dallas, I worked real hard to find someone to allow me in so I can film this, because I was like, when am I going to get to go watch Wushu again for Fight Finders? It's going to be a long time before I can travel anywhere like China, unless they would have flown me out. And I don't think that they would want to. So here we are now. I'm driving out to Dallas. I'm staying at a buddy of mine, Steele's house. Steele, shout out. That's a good homie of mine. We used to play basketball and stuff together. And he lives out in Dallas now. And I miss him a lot. So it's going to be great to get to hang out with him again. So yeah, be on lookout for that. That should be next week's video. If you haven't yet, checked out my article on Miyamoto Musashi and the Nitin Ichiryo lineage, his way of two swords. I did. Stalemates just joined. I'm sorry, bro. We're leaving. I need to know when the next Stalemate show is. If you like folk style freestyle wrestling, Stalemates is the way to go. Hands down. So yeah. Follow me on YouTube, Fight Library, Twitter, Blaine Henry TFL, Substack, fightlibrary.substack.com, and you can get all these directly to your inbox. If you want to show me a little extra love, patreon.com/fightlibrary. You get exclusive content as well as all the other content there. So yeah, I will catch you guys next week, and Fight Finders episode 2 is coming. Let's go. Later, guys.